comic coming to the stage, just doing great. Put your hands together for Jason Sprung.
I just graduated and I majored in philosophy with a concentration in mental masturbation. All the philosophy majors concentrated in that. I had a minor in sociology, and in sociology we did a lot of country studies. And I don't know if you know this, but this is true. Lithuania has the highest homicide rate in the world and the highest suicide rate in the world. And you know, it didn't come as a surprise to me when I found out that there's no life expectancy for Lithuania. It just says NA. I think every time the Lithuanian sociologist tries to finish the life expectancy report, he either kills himself or someone else kills him. I think if the Taliban was smart, they'd recruit some of these Lithuanians because clearly they do not have a problem blowing themselves up. Oh, God. Are there any Lithuanians in the crowd tonight? I really do not want to die tonight. But it was interesting. I was looking at that suicide list, and Sweden was pretty high on the suicide, one of the higher rates of suicide. I think they're like 4 or 5. And you know, this kind of confused me because I don't know if you know, Forbes magazine came out with a list last month of the happiest countries in the world. And Sweden was right up there with all the Scandinavian countries, Sweden, Finland. And so, you know, this didn't make any sense to me. Why are all these happy people committing suicide? And then Forbes came out with another list and this about countries, and this cleared it up for me. This article said that Sweden is the most ironic country in the world. And it all made sense to me. And by the way, Lithuania was on the bottom. It's like the happiest countries in the world. I'm a big R. Kelly fan. Not of his music, of his sex tapes. And no, that's gross. He's a pedophile. It was interesting. He, whenever he goes on tour, he goes to Angola and the Philippines. Like, this is odd. What do Angola and the Philippines have in common that he would want to go there? No other touring singers go there. It turns out Angola and the Philippines have the lowest age of consent for sex in the world. This is true. The age of consent for sex there is 12. That's way too low. I agree. So either the politicians and lawmakers in those countries are pedophiles, or, well, they're just pedophiles. There's really no other explanation for that. My brother was born without toes. This is pretty sad. It's a serious condition. He was born without toes, and I feel really bad for him, but you know, I can't help but tease him. I tease him all the time because I'm lactose intolerant. Whenever I shave, I always get little cuts. I think lots of guys have this problem. I get little cuts on the side of my face. It starts to bleed. And so I have to put tissue paper on the side of my face, but it bleeds through. And so after I'm done shaving, it always looks like I have tiny Japanese flags all over my face. But whenever I'm done, I always have this strange urge to travel back in time to 1942 and fly myself into an American naval warship. I have these gay friends, Fred and Steve, and they're magnets. They're real magnets, and I feel really bad for them because they love each other a lot, but it's physically impossible for these magnets to become intimate. It's like, that's as close as they can get. And I can just see these magnets in couples therapy. You're too negative. No, you're too negative. Because they're actual magnets. I don't know if you noticed, but some of my jokes are very, very dry, like the past 3. And you maybe think to yourself, Jason, how do you get your jokes so dry? Well, here's what I do. I keep a sponge in my pocket at all times, and it soaks up all the humor moisture. All right, thank you.
Jason Sprung.